Hard work is not the key to success. I expect two sets of reactions from people who come across this title. The first set are those who would think I'm simply crazy and just scroll past. The second set are those who are curious to know what I mean by that statement. If you've listened up until this point, I assume that you're in the second category, and I appreciate you for hearing me out. I'll try to use an example that I feel is relatable, so picture this. Two teachers have to compile the results of their students. One person spends 3 days manually using a calculator or even their natural brain to do the work. The second person uses an Excel spreadsheet and achieves the same result in a few hours or even minutes. Which of these two people worked harder? The first person obviously worked harder, but the second person was more efficient. Now, we may sympathize with the first person for their grit and dedication. However, anybody would choose the second person and even pay them more for doing more work in far less time with greater efficiency. I hate to break the news to you, but nobody really cares how hard you work, especially if you do not have results to show for it. Hard work is good and noble, but with the current pace of the world, people would rather have someone who does better work in less time. I've come to realize that hard work in itself is not a bad thing, but it's certainly not the key to success, especially if you are working hard on the wrong things. One problem I've come to identify is that a lot of people take pride in working hard instead of in churning out results. So when I hear people say things like, "I'm so busy, do you know how hard I work? I've not slept in 3 days. I've been working on this project that has given me sleepless nights." Well, so sorry. But do you realize that in many cases, the same thing that has kept you up for several nights could have been done in less than a day if you had the right information, applied the right principles, or simply optimized your processes? Now, I agree that there are certain things that inherently need hard work, but instead of bragging about how hard you work, brag about how efficient and productive you are. There's no point staying awake for several days when you're not productive. So here are a few points you need to note. Number 1, get the right information and optimize processes. Sometimes you're working hard not because the work you are doing requires you to work hard, but because you don't know a better way to do it. Abraham Lincoln is quoted to say these words, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." The idea here is that you work harder, spend more time, and get less work done if you are working with a blunt axe. Find ways to optimize your processes. Sometimes just a little seemingly insignificant adjustment can make all the difference. You could choose to spend a few minutes every day learning something new before you begin your work. This decision may end up exposing you to a lot of things over time that you never knew, and with increased knowledge comes increased speed. The information you gather could also help you optimize how you do your work. Number 2, deep work and focus. Multitasking may feel like a good thing at first glance, but it isn't always so. A lot of times you're better off focusing all of your energy and attention on one task and following it through to completion, or at least for a stretch of time. Afterwards, you move on to the next task. Cal Newport, in his book titled "The World Without Email," talked about the hyperactive hive mind. A lot of people have their days filled with plenty of activity but little productivity. So you could be at your desk for 4 hours, but 3 hours are spent conversing with a colleague or browsing through social media. These things are good, but there's time for everything. How about you put in 2 to 3 focused hours of work and close out some tasks, then you take a break to do other things? What happens is that when you take irregular breaks in between your work, your mind finds it difficult to get to that alpha state where you become fully immersed in your work and move with greater speed. So you're at work for 5 or 8 hours, but you get little or nothing done. Number 3, rest and leisure. I don't know who needs to hear this, but rest and leisure are important for productivity. You don't simply get more done by sitting in front of your computer for 10 hours. The brain naturally does not function optimally for that stretch of time. Not only does your brain need rest and recalibration to function well, your body also needs rest to stay healthy. Now, I know that motivational speakers tell you that if you sleep for 8 hours a day, that's 1/3 of your life. But at the same time, if you do not make time to rest your mind and your body, you'd probably not even live up to the 1/3. I'm not a doctor, so I can't prescribe sleep hours for you. I'm not also a motivational speaker that will tell you not to sleep. But from my personal experience, I can tell you that sleep and rest are important. There was a time I used to sleep very little, and I thought that by having more waking hours, I would be more productive. But lack of sleep made me even less productive, sometimes depressed. Right now, I sleep properly, and I'm also a lot more productive with my waking hours. There are special periods when I have major deadlines to meet, and sleep just eludes me. Like my brain does not even contemplate sleeping, I just take naps at best. But these are the exceptions, not the rule. The rule for me is that when I'm tired, I rest. And when I wake up, I continue with an even greater speed. Aside from sleeping, there are other things that are necessary for productivity. Activities like watching movies, playing games, exercising, spending time with family, or even scrolling through social media to get a good laugh. So you don't need to feel guilty for doing any of these things. It only becomes a problem when you let these things interfere with your productive time. It's good to schedule time for these things too. Hard work may mean that you slept in the office or worked overtime. That does not mean you are more productive than the person that left at 5 p.m. Hard work may mean that you are on your desk for 10 hours, but someone else completed that job in 5 hours and used the remnant of the time to rest and recalibrate. You may show up every day at the office to get the attendance mark and show activity, but that does not mean that you are productive. Sometimes you are just hyperactive. So what are the key takeaways for today? Number 1, hard work is not bad, and serious-minded people are usually hardworking. But if you are working hard on things that don't require hard work simply because you have a knowledge gap or because you fail to take a little time to sharpen your axe, we will not applaud you for that. We'll applaud you for your results. Number 2, don't take pride in hard work. Take pride in being productive and efficient at your work. Take pride in churning out better results in less time. Sometimes you have to work hard, but sometimes you need to also think like a lazy person. A lazy person wants to find the easy way out. And although in some cases the easy way out requires cutting corners, which may be detrimental in the long run, in other cases, the easy way out is not a bad approach at all. And it just takes putting in some extra thoughts, asking the right questions, and optimizing processes. Number 3, if you have a task to do, perhaps you've been doing it in a particular way. Ask yourself if there's a better approach to take that can help you complete the work faster and better. Don't just be satisfied with putting in more hours. More hours are good, but do your best to put those hours to good use. In the end, nobody really cares how hard you work if you do not have results to show for it. So don't feel accomplished simply because you put in more hours. Rather, you should feel accomplished because you got more work done in less time and with better accuracy and efficiency. We'll pause here for today. I hope this was worth your time. Please share this with someone if you found it useful. Subscribe or follow to stay updated when new news drop. Spotify comments are back, so you can leave feedback in the comment section. I'm always delighted to read them. Have a beautiful week ahead. Until I come your way again, keep being amazing. My name is Murphy Nnamdi Chuba.